Hello, welcome to Selnar's Minis. My name is Scott. Today's date is October 27th of 2025, and this is hobby vlog number 19. This last weekend was CritCon. CritCon is a Portland, Oregon miniature convention that I had the pleasure to teach two classes in this year. The first class was Plasma Coils and Blinking Lights, which was an object source lighting class. And the second class was The Curious Case of Greenskins, which is basically using different colored paints to do skin tones rather than the normal human style. In other words, orcs, goblins, Tau, any other alien race or fantasy race. I mean, the class could be used for anything. And while I was there, I got a chance to go around and speak with a number of vendors and artists. And I kind of, in this video, want to talk about some of the ones that I came across that were really, really interesting and just very down-to-earth people that I liked talking to. Very, encouraging to speak with these type of people. Basically, they're friendly, they are informative, they're passionate about what they do, and it's always great to talk to these kind of people because it helps rejuvenate myself. Sometimes I can find myself in a little bit of a rut and being a little bit narrow focused. It's always great to get new energy and to broaden my horizons or look at things in a different light. So I'm going to start off with the first one. And this gentleman's name was Jonathan Brodsky. He was really cool. He was basically sculpting while we talked with Green Stuff his own miniatures. So he sculpts his own miniatures in Green Stuff. He makes a mold and then he casts them in metal. So good old-fashioned hand sculpted metal miniatures. I got from him only 4 miniatures, but they're really cool. I got a goblin. It's holding the rock. His shop can be found here. You can look for him online there. I got a goblin. I got this demon that is somewhat reminiscent in pose, to me at least, to a horror, which is really cool. He also has some adventurers, though this adventurer looks very goblin-esque. So this may be a goblin shaman or wizard. And then the last miniature I got from him was an orc. And it is October. And I still have 4 days. And I may get a chance to push out a mini for Orktober. So go check him out. He's really cool. He's very, very passionate about what he does. And the energy he provided was super great. Another really enthusiastic and creative individual was a gentleman by the name of John Caro. John Caro is doing something a little bit different. So we have lots of sports miniatures that are fantasy or sci-fi based, but he just wanted to do a regular miniatures game that was just set in today, the modern world. So he made Smackdown. Smackdown is a tabletop wrestling miniature game. And I have not read through all these rules, but I spent a lot of time talking to him. Again, really enthusiastic, genuine, really just happy to be talking to people. Both of these guys were. They're just very great dudes. And if I can help them even just by the very smallest amount of exposure and by buying some product, I was happy to do so. This game, like I said, I haven't read the rules, but it definitely has lots of moves in it for your wrestling people. It's printed by Dark Future, but it didn't stop there. There are no miniatures for wrestling, so we had some 3D sculpted and printed. So I picked up a pack, and I may just try this game out and see what I think about it and give a review. But I do have to say that I am super stoked to even try it, because like I said, there is a lot of fantasy or sci-fi themed sports games, but not a whole lot of in real life kind of themed games like this. So if you can, check out SmackDown by John Carroll. And it is through Dark Future. The other vendor I came across is a gentleman who does 3D printing, and it's called Minis by Myconoid. And he kind of just mostly prints these four sculpts from different studios. He did say if you have some 3D STLs that you wanted to have printed and he doesn't have access to them, he would print them for a fee. That's pretty cool. But he had some really cool minis. I picked up multiple miniatures from him, I'll be completely honest. I think I got a total of like 14. But he had this really cool troll that gave me like classic D&D troll vibes, which was really nice. But he also had this monstrosity of a Cthulhu style, like extra planar being. And I'm gonna have a lot of fun painting this one. In fact, I've been toying around with coming up with a new blog category. I have my finish and the unfinished, and obviously I have this Storm Giantess and the Labyrinth model, witch, and and I will go into more detail on my blog on my website for that. But I've decided that since I have enough large miniatures, I might want to start doing a blog on those alone. And so beyond that, there was another booth. It's a local store here in the Vancouver, Portland region called Mindtaker Miniatures. And they had a bits box, and this is some other things I pulled out of the bit box. So these two individuals are pretty much intact. This guy's missing his arms and his weapon. This guy's missing his arm, weapon, and I'm not sure that this is his arm, but it was found in the same bit box, so it's possible, but I might just switch it out for something else. And his top part of his helmet is missing as well. I picked up some female Space Marine heads, which will be a lot of fun to swap out some regular Space Marine heads for this. And then for sci-fi kit bashing purposes as well. And then there was this, just the space with some brimstone horrors on it, which is also really cool as well. So that was my miniature haul from the CritCon. Like I said, I had 2 classes. I have to film 2 videos. I have, luckily, leftovers from that so that I can get filming and get these done quickly. This was from the Plasma Coils and Blinking Lights. And then I just focused in on the skin for the orcs. I didn't paint anything else, so I can go ahead and show how to do that pretty quickly as well. Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of leftover so you can go ahead and get those projects done as quickly as possible. All right. Once again, this is Selnar's Minis. As always, paint fearlessly. It's just paint, and you can fix any mistakes, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.